Hello, my friends. It's great to see you again. A lovely morning to you all, even though it could be the afternoon once this video might be ready and that, but no matter. Today is the day of the anniversary of how me and my bro evolved into something else. It might be a little long, it might be a little short, but it doesn't matter as long as I explain my full story. But now I think it's time to start at the beginning, I suppose, before we get to this. As I mentioned to you before in the last video many whiles ago, Star Wars kind of began for me and my bro when we were just kids, when we watched the original, when we saw Lord Vader himself along with his son. But we had no idea who he was until only the Clone Wars series, and the other as well, the prequel. But by back then, we bonded with Anakin just as much as we bonded with his Padawan, but the only difference between him and Ahsoka is that due to her snippy attitude, which is understandable, and other things with it, she was kind of not exactly very interesting to us. So in other words, we felt she was a joke. Now I know what you're gonna say, but Ahsoka seems so powerful, so wise now, so much of a fan favorite. And I would say, I know. But I was young, just like my twin, and didn't know any better. So while my bro looked down on her, I also took a small interest and did the same. But still, season 3 came. That's right. A very impressive development one of the Clone Wars series. The Citadel would break out, and the other was when she was kidnapped. During the time when Ahsoka was assigned to the mission, she was getting development after basically stowing away to it. But in some ways, at least it made her develop to something. Then there was the time when she was kidnapped and she found others who were in the same position, other younglings. I was so worried, just as much as my bro and just as much as her master. And it was so difficult. But then after the finale, after seeing her resourcefulness, her determination, her heart, we finally realized that we found a favorite equal to her master. We found those two, the true dynamic duo. Those two really became something that we truly looked up to, like our own brother and sisters. After that season, we began looking up to them, and more importantly, developing a strong bond. But unfortunately, our happiness was not to last. And there wasn't a day that goes by, despite my rough years, despite everything me and my brother had before developing to a better man, that I wish that maybe I should have been there just as much as him. It was February or more. It was February to March, or probably January until to February of the Clone Wars, of the final few of the Clone Wars season 5. Anakin and Ahsoka were on a mission before they were recalled back, and the Jedi Temple was bombed. During that time, when they were able to make some investigations, found out there was a living human with nanodroid explosives that literally went boom, and everyone in the temple were killed. Well, not everyone, just a part of the area, but still, there was enough dead and injuries to fill up a cart, and a few to put in the Jedi graveyard in the temple. The conspirator was the man's own wife, but she was forced to do it and set up by someone else. At first, we thought it was Ventress due to the trailer we saw many whiles ago before the episodes. It was, at first, we didn't know. What's the word I'm looking for? Now I recall. Forgive me. At first, we didn't think it was, an important mission. We thought it was just somebody broke in and sabotaged it, but when we heard it could be another Jedi, although it wouldn't be the first time, there was Krell. And my bro will explain there were a few things in regards to a certain fan fiction, but I'll let him explain when the day comes. Or actually when the hours come, actually. But I'm getting off topic where I say, oh yes. We got the woman, and she was going to confess, but an episode later about who it was, until suddenly she was force choked. And here's this. Ahsoka ends up being framed for a crime she didn't commit. And to be fair, nobody believed her. Not Fox, certainly not that Slimo, Sakachu, Mako, Tarkin. But only Anakin, me, and my bro believed her. And we saw right through it. He tried to visit her, but he couldn't. And it's true. How would it look if he forced his way in? And you realize what he could do? If he forced his way to her, he would probably be put under a conspiracy too, or worse. And Ahsoka would then be the one to suffer. And I understood where he came from. I want to break her out, believe me. But then she found a way to break out on her own because the conspirator somehow was able to get through the defenses, got the key card out and made Ahsoka look like she broke herself out, using force tricks in hand-to-hand combat, then laid some dead clones to make it look like she really was guilty. The next episode later, we assumed it was Ventress and we were going right at her, until we realized she wasn't the one. It made no sense. If she wasn't the one and she wasn't the one, then who was? And then she got captured again, Ahsoka. But it gets us with questions than answers. If Ventress wasn't the one who framed Ahsoka, then who did? But that next episode, this episode right now on this very anniversary, is now I'm going to talk about. The day she was put on trial. Before the trial began, Tarkin contacted the Jedi Order, wanted her to be kicked out and put under a tribunal military trial to receive more impartial judgment. Blasted hypocrisy. They just want to kill her afterwards, just as for revenge. I don't think Tarkin cared about it anyway, especially since he doesn't care about Jedi to begin with. After the talk ended, Obi-Wan tried to tell the Jedi Order to stand with Ahsoka, but with the evidence and everything else, do you know what they did? They chose the politics and did exactly what Tarkin wanted. Before it started, like, I still remember the conversation and remember my brother role-playing. I remember what Ahsoka said when Anakin was pacing. You're not helping. And he said he's sorry, snips, and I just don't know what to do. And she didn't know either. And I say my bro would say that would make three of us. He said to get it over with. And Anakin and I would agree. Does that mean it was just a more formality and a fucking waste of time? And what happened? They did it like I said. They threw her aside, stripped her Padawan brace, rank you name it, tossed her aside like garbage, and left her for the wolves. You think we hated the Jedi Order? They turned on us, just like they did with Anakin, although I guess they really contributed to that. There's the next part here now, which when we were figured out we were fools. Barris awfully. She was the one. She betrayed the Jedi Order. Like Anakin, I was furiously enraged and shocked. Ahsoka trusted her and she betrayed her. But as soon as after we captured her, she confessed to her entire motive. The Jedi were once responsible for the war. Not exactly. But she was right about the middle and the ending. That the Order lost its way, that we became nothing more short than villains in this blasted, bloody conflict. So we basically should be the ones put on trial. Everyone! The attack was meant to be a demonstration to show what the Jedi had become. Basically an army fighting for the dark side. Maybe not completely, but still. I mean, entering into a corrupt Senate, killing in a war where they should be trying to make a peace or something. They're basically tools now. And the Republic was failing. It was only a matter of time. Anakin and I were hoping, us were hoping that Ahsoka would come back despite everything. Hoping we could try to fix it. And Mace's idiotic hypocrisy, as well as some of them not making an apology, was enough for Ahsoka to leave because she didn't trust them. I still remember how upset my bro was. Just like I still remember how Ahsoka was upset. This picture right here now, after the next, is the part where she shed a tear. This is how we all felt. And descended right down to the temple grounds. And like him, like my bro, I never saw her again for 2 years. And my bro had a rough day despite everything, just as much as I had my rough days. His autism, that's when it evolved just like mine. But although I probably had a lot of more anger and rage, and controlling us was difficult. It took our parents and our friends, including a couple of small trusted people from the therapy, to a full year to teach us how to control that power. But my bro, while he was trying to control it, was obsessed with finding Ahsoka for the past 2 years. And he was just about to give up until suddenly rebels came in, and suddenly he found a huge lead. Could it be me? Could it be her? What I do know, that he needed help. Until now, 2015, we finally found her. She was growing up, truly powerful, just like her master. Sorry. But this next, what you see now, and you see now here. But on the same episode, we saw her master now, him, Sith Lord, that we wished that never came. And we knew for a shadow of a doubt that it was only a matter of time before they would see each other again. Every day when he was watching season 2 of Rebels, my bro got up very early in the morning just to watch it. Even during the school days. And it took and to be honest, that obsession was taking a toll. we were also trying to find answers to those questions, why we were so obsessed with her. The answer was obvious. Her master. Because we knew she was part of the key that would free him. I know what you're going to say. In fact, 2 Jedi were able to break open his mask, revealing part of Anakin and the other half Vader. But unfortunately, I doubt Obi-Wan was that part because, in truth, he was very guilty for a lot of reasons, but now we realize how selfish we were in holding a grudge with him after all these years. Because, in truth, he actually did try, but he failed, but at least he acknowledged his mistakes. Well, one half of it in relation to Ahsoka. But Anakin was a different story, but I'm getting off topic. I can take it you recognize these pieces. The recording of Anakin's training technique to the younglings, probably even to Ahsoka, and the other half. These 2 pieces. The day when she was experiencing the vision of the truth that her master was Vader. We knew it was not the confrontation yet, but we knew it was the big build-up. And we knew it was only a matter of time before he would find her. Especially since the Inquisitors failed to capture her the last time. No doubt the reason why they pursued harder was because of Vader. You can only imagine why. Because he hates reminders of his past. And how could we blame him, since this was the very Padawan he cared deeply about originally? Or in this case, Anakin did, because I'm sure Vader, despite his ruthlessness, saw potential, because he never blamed anyone completely, but he does not like reminders. Like I said, that was one half of the truth. It was always Anakin, but Ahsoka, that was part of the reason why he was able to be redeemed. The Padawan and the son, Luke Skywalker, 2 parts the key, and Padme believed in her heart that even before she died, that Anakin was in there still despite Vader having a grip. It's like I said in the comments, there are gaps between those parts. Comics, TV shows, you name it. Moments, plot holes that didn't make sense. But thanks to, like I said, those books, shows, you name it, that I mentioned, all of that lost time will come back. And how about a small bonus? The Force Awakens. Yeah, I know. The black sheep of the sequel series. But how about a small story? When me and my bro were looking for Ahsoka, or in this case he was obsessed in a mess. And to be fair, after finding her afterwards, finding answers, we just didn't care much about it. Until maybe the best thing happened in December, during the Christmas times. Maybe the most fantastic thing ever. The sequel came and showed us what Star Wars was like during the past. And as much as people would hate it, there we were. The new cast and the original. Having the Force, the magic, everything. The Force Awakens brought back. The Force Awakens, the first episode of the sequel, brought the love we cared for Star Wars back, and it also kind of helped us in a way trying to find some magic within Disney. It basically gave our lives back. And I want to say thank you. I would tell the original casting crew, especially the prequel and even the cast crew of the Clone Wars, that we truly have become the better people, but even despite our flaws, balanced better people than most, that we learned a great deal from them. But I'm sure they would tell us that we are the true warriors and that we would keep an open mind and try and have hope and strength. So that's the truth because of this. That's the entire truth, and why I'm doing this anniversary, and why I'm showing you all of this and telling you all of this. This day was the day we truly evolved with our power of autism, and why we are back with Star Wars and back with Disney, and why we stood with the black sheep. It's because we owe the black sheep a debt. And we never blame the casting crew or maybe some of the people who worked it. Okay, definitely Catherine and Johnson, right? Those guys screwed everything up. But we never gotten too far. But actually, my bro did. Empire Fan Production. My bro became one of the fans who were no different than them, and he lashed out at him, but he also was losing it because of the darkness, and he also had his dream of becoming an actor, which is understandable now. A few years later, during the pandemic, we were in a rough place and we were in a prison in darkness. But during that time, and especially because of Last of Us Part 2, we realized just how foolish we were. How much hatred we had and how much greed and disbalance. But unfortunately, some of the other people like Lucas Prime and Don Corleone, yeah, that YouTuber, but he's only taking it as a title. He's not the true. He doesn't understand honor. But the truth is, we realize how selfish we became, wanting more, greed, power, the best movie. But in truth, nothing is perfect. Nothing is completely beautiful. But it doesn't mean it's all hopeless, all darkness, all basically everything. Because that's the truth. That's why we stood with some of the stuff from the sequel, and also why we stood with the casting crew and the characters, and why also now we are better people thanks to today and everything else. And Empire, everyone else, my bro and I let you guys down. We let you all down. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm just so sorry. Fucking hell. These aren't fake tears. We suffered our own fair scars. My point is, nothing is awful. Nothing is broken. Nothing is hopeless. You may be retired from the Marvel, DC, but not everything is lost. Similar with Disney and Star Wars, not everything is lost. You find the right thing to move forward. Find the balance. But if you keep ranting, filling the hole in your heart, it gets deeper and you eventually destroy yourselves. You have to learn from it and try to move on. Move on, but don't forget, but never lose sight of yourself. Empire understood that. AJ, Joseph Corfin, which I know you're watching right now, and I know my loyal fans who are subscribed, you guys are watching this, and I really appreciate your loyalty and honor, and understand truly that you guys know where I'm coming from. But just to finish this off, Lucas Prime and Don Corleone, they are lost. Some of what they're doing comes from a right place, but the rest of it's just over the top, because in truth they truly believe that there's much hope, and everyone in Star Wars, Disney, and any other place is evil. And of course, there might be a few things that are not perfect, but it doesn't mean it's awful, and they provide lessons. Sometimes a reminder is what we need and to keep moving forward. And Uncle Yon, I think he's going way too far. He's inspired by Empire, but he's inspired by maybe he letting his worst ambitions and ego destroy himself. I know it feels like a harsh rant, or feels like a criticism, but in truth, can you blame me? Well, that's the truth on this anniversary. Firing everything out of my chest, firing the whole truth, the whole being how I feel. Wow, truly feel better now. And I will truly feel better knowing that you guys are with me to the very end. I love you guys, and nothing's ever going to change that. Well, I guess this is about it. What do you say we all try and see if we can find new possibilities in the places despite being retired, and try and save Star Wars and Disney? Oh, and if you know the previous video, that video with the internet link, you guys can watch your favorite TV shows and movies now without even a Disney Plus. You're welcome, and tomorrow you're going to be getting another fan fiction book, along with next week to go with it too. Alrighty then, it's time to get going. May the Force and magic be with us, and I'll be seeing you guys around with the birthday posts. Later. And take care of yourselves and your friends and family, including your kids if you have any. May the Force and magic be with us once again.